Good evening and welcome to Options Center. It is Friday, 2/17/23. Welcome everybody. We're gonna go through SPX on multiple time frames, go all the way down to the Elliott wave count. But most importantly, we put on a trade idea on YouTube today. It's Tesla. So we're gonna look at Tesla on the weekly and show what we're looking at for our trade setup. So stick around. And if you're new here, go down to that bottom right-hand corner, hit that Options Center logo, and don't forget to subscribe, okay? Like the videos, all that good stuff. Get those algorithms going. All right, we have SPX on the monthly time frame. We are back into that boogie area. It's been range bound. We're going back and forth. So we're breaking into it right now. We're only halfway through the month, so we have plenty to go on this chart. We were denied off that 20 simple moving average, but we're being squeezed between that trend indicator that I talk about so much, which is that 8 EMA. It's going sideways. It wants to start curving up as time comes off this clock, but we're pinching in between, and we have to see where this month ends to really kind of determine what happens next. Because really we were thinking, hey, this looks kind of like a breakout. So is this a breakout and back test before going higher? Or is this a breakout, fake out, and heading lower? That's going to be the big question going over time. We're pretty neutral on the MACD. We have not crossed to the bull side yet. We have not had a bullish cross. I think that's more appropriate to say. The RSI is completely neutral. It's flat. So that's what's showing in price action in this time frame. Going down to the weekly. On this weekly time frame, we're showing this channel heading down, okay? We broke out of this channel. We're making lower highs and lower lows, so we're technically still in the downtrend, but what I'm looking at here is just a firming up of bullish action here, and that's because of the market structure where we had a high, a higher low, and a higher high. So that doesn't change that higher time frame yet, but in the daily time frame we are in an uptrend, and it would be very important for the bulls to hold on to this area here and make maybe just a lower high. Doesn't have to. We've been consolidating for 3 weeks now, and if we start to break above there, maybe we have a little bit of energy to push, but eventually we're gonna have to come back and retest and possibly give us a much better opportunity to go long. Or, since I'm a bear, my count says that we go lower as soon as next week. Okay, so looking at the indicators, we have this MACD just going into a downtrend line here. So this would be a perfect spot to actually start to curl over and cross bearish, okay? And we had this bullish divergence, I think, that played out already. You know, we do have a wave count that says we eke just a little bit higher before going lower, but I think that situation kind of timed out. So I'm not really looking at that so much anymore. We're still pretty neutral, flat on the RSI as well on this weekly. Okay, going down to that daily time frame. Let's change our board up here. Trend is our friend. All right, just looking at this a little bit differently, I just have this trend line up here, trend line up. So technically we're in an uptrend. We have not broken down from this trend line here. And that's kind of the key spot that we're gonna have to look at. Now, I have this drawn from the straight directly down. I would give that some wiggle room. I would give that just a little bit of wiggle room, and because you could go from body to body here for that kind of angle as well. So I'm going to leave it right here, just because that's happily in this area with the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. So I'm really looking at that as being our target to the downside. Kind of tricky today, where you notice that I'm going to dive in a little bit more. We broke down from that 40-90 area that I was talking about, That was a very, very important support area broken down, and now we stopped right on it as resistance. And that's no coincidence, you guys. That's how that's how Friday works. That's how options expiration works. All that good stuff. So I know that's a hammer candle, but we'll have to see if the follow through happens. Okay, that is a setup. I do get that. We're setting up into resistance. I don't like that. And we're underneath that 8 EMA. Our trend indicator is starting to curl down, and we have the 20-day moving average right above. So that's not a good sign for the bulls. But yeah, I'll give it this. You got this hammer candle, and if you want to trade to the upside, you can put your stop right underneath this candle. Honestly, if it's getting really, really weak below more than halfway down the candle, that's a good enough spot. But I would definitely put it underneath, if not anything else, and use that as your stop. Okay, because some people are looking at this as a massive flag here, and I don't like that. We're curling down on the MACD, so we got that bearish cross, and the RSI is back to the neutral zone. So we're kind of neutral on all of the stances here. I do want to show, let's go over to this little beaker thing here. Let's get the McClellan MCC. That should pop up there. The summation, that's the summation of all the oscillators down low. Let's go ahead and take these off here, so we can just see that. Okay, perfect. All right, zoom out a little bit so we can see what's happening here. We saw that we got some to extreme at this point, just completely dived down, and this was very strong all the way up into the most extreme area that we can see on this chart, going back to 2021, maybe 2020. Okay, so this is the most extreme since then, and we're just now getting out of there. So I can imagine if we hold this 37, we oscillate up here. You don't see that happen too much, but that would be very bullish, and that would say, hey, the bulls are in control. But we start to break down to this 3,700, and we're gonna get weaker. That's what's happening. That's what the weaker process here, and we could end up way down low. Again, we could oscillate down low. That's not the point of what I'm getting at. We're just looking to get out of that extreme bullish area, and we're on the decline at this point. So that's something to look at. And then we'll check out the 65-minute. Oh, my session's closed. Just give me a second. The magic pause button. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. They're working on the site or something. Anyway, I took the time out to put on the McClellan oscillator just to show you this as well while we're on the daily time frame. And we're not strong. You can just tell we've been looking at breadth. If you've been in the options guy, the Discord, I've been showing breadth, and on Twitter, we've had terrible breadth in the market. It's been very, very weak, and this shows it all. We're still right here on the bottom, oversold, but just in a weak stance. Okay, just like this is really weak over there. This is weak here, and it's shown throughout this price action as well in the breadth. And that just means a handful of stocks have been holding us up. Nothing significant, while the rest of the market has been kind of headed to the downside. Okay, enough mumbling on here. Let's go down to 65. All right, change the board on the 65-minute. All this is going to really show us is this ascending triangle, fake break, broke down from it, and just held for options expiration into this triangle. Ended up breaking down and just back testing that major support resistance we were talking about all week long. Actually for two weeks really, and just back testing at the close there, and we should see a little bit lower prices as we go. This is This is the zone, the area that I'm looking at for some sort of support, at least at bounce. And you know, I'm going to adjust this one just like we did in the daily, just to give us some room right there. So now we have the channel top here, the trend line here, support, and you saw the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So just right in this zone. And that also coincides with the, if we go to our alternate board here, for our alternate scenario for the, let's move this over a little bit, for our Elliott wave count. So that would mean that this is a 1, 2, and this is a 1, 2, where we're looking at some support around that 50%, 62% there. That coincides with all the other confluence that I was talking about there. And we should see, if this is, we should see some sort of reaction here. And my primary count says we go much lower, but if this ends up heading down here, that's a place to take some profit and kind of lighten up to see what happens first, and then maybe play a little bit of the bounce. But that, you know, that's it depends on what kind of trader you are, but that's the pivot that I'm really looking at. If we break back down into that channel or break down from that trend line, that's really a bearish move, and then that kind of solidifies what I'm looking at in the primary scenario. But keep an eye on this. I'll put up a card up top there that shows if this happens, I'm a bull. And that's what this really points out, really gives a full analysis on that. So check that out. Make sure you hit that link after we do the rest of this video. All right, we have the SPX and then our regular wave count. We can go into the daily for this one. So this is our primary wave count, you guys. This is what I'm looking at. We're looking at, this is the all-time high, and we have a 5-wave move possible here. I'm also looking at this being a 5-wave move down to here as a 1-2. It doesn't matter at this point whether this is a 1-2, 1-2, and we head lower, because either way we should be heading lower pretty impulsively if one of these are correct. Okay, we have an A, B, C correction into a wave 2, whether it's intermediate or minor, doesn't matter. We should be on our way to a minute or a lesser degree wave 1, 2, and then have much lower 3, 4. And what we're looking at, our targets are 3,500 to that 3,200 elusive area that we have been talking about for so long now. We thought that we would have came down from this point and the market wanted to go higher. So now that it did that, we have to really think about that bullish scenario. And so that's why this very important 50-day moving average and this 200-day moving average, all of this consolidation of moving averages right here, even the hundreds right there, and that's so important that you know, we have to keep an eye on that, because we made a new high there for that structure. Okay, but we confirm underneath this B wave, this A, B, underneath this B wave, if you're looking at just Elliott wave terms, that's the all go that we're going to go lower. Okay, that enhances the probability that we're going much lower, and we're going to take out this low here. All right, because that would make this a 3-wave move for a correction if we break underneath. That's confirmed. Okay, that's pretty much it. That's our primary scenario. Maybe you want to look into the near term. I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll go to Tesla. I almost forgot about Tesla. Yes, I did. Tried to play it off, but so let's go over to the other board, the Elliott wave board. We have this as a leading diagonal as a 1, 2, and then 1, 2, or even quite possible 1, 2. Since this is still higher then this point here, this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for a leading diagonal as well. All right. So either one of those, we'll see. We'll have to see what the market gives us for information. And that could be the scenario there as well, where we come up for a 2 and then we start heading lower from there. That will be all with that. So let's go over to Tesla. Tesla, we need to look at that on the weekly time frame. This is a swing trade, okay? And then we'll go down to the 65 from there. I don't want to do it the opposite. I like to go from top down. All right. So we're looking at Tesla on that weekly time frame. We have that bow and arrow, support, resistance, now acting as resistance, and going through this consolidation as well, now acting as resistance. So why did we take a swing on Tesla? Well, first of all, it's because of this reversal candle, okay? We came above it. It didn't stop me out. We didn't close above it. I'm holding on for dear life. This is still a tweezer top setup, okay? Now we need to see what next week brings along. When we start getting above and closing above here, then that's a good place to stop, okay? If you stopped out already, you can get back in. It's no big deal. So we put this setup on one of our YouTube shorts today. We plan on swinging this one much lower. I don't know if I updated the count for that. Maybe we should go down to the weekly for that one. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibly for a 1, 2, since we came all the way back up to the 50%. I did not update this, so I'll have to double check to see if this fits as a wave 3. But other than that, it could be a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2. I don't know if that's the situation. This can be considered an A, B, C. And then we come back for the retracement for a larger wave A, B, and then a C lower. Okay, so there's a couple different ways we can look at it. We'll update that later. That's not the point. We're getting into the swing. Even if it's just for a correction, we think we're going lower. Okay, and there's your major uptrend line. We had a high here, just eked out a new high. That was another divergent high over and over with the MACD and the RSI. We'll put that one on. And then we'll put the MACD on. Just so I can get a point across here. Okay, these divergences, just insane. These are new highs in price, but lower highs in momentum and strength, okay? So big time divergences. I think we at least come back to this point of control and the breakout zone that we had. Okay, that's a long way down, but we're back testing. We broke down from the major trend line, so that's a sell opportunity in itself, and we're back testing, and I see us going lower. All right, that's it today, you guys. Thank you. We'll get back to you probably on Sunday for a little bit more information. So thanks for joining us here on Options Center. Don't forget to like the video.